Hey everyone, we are moving on to chapter 8. So in this chapter, we're going to talk a little bit about the play therapy room and the toys that go in the room. And this is going to give you a much better picture of kind of what the playroom looks like and what you'd be working with your children in play therapy. So we'll start at the beginning. And I highly recommend that you also just take a look at chapter 8 because it does have really good comprehensive lists of the materials that you might need. I went ahead and put them in this PowerPoint so that you can have them in D2L as well. So your playroom location, you are going to want to find a separate place that conveys that this is a place for children. A well-worn feeling is preferred. So if you have all new toys, you may want to break them in a little bit. And the playroom should be located in a place that allows for noise, so somewhere separate so as not to disturb others. And you're going to want to try to soundproof, but do not put soundproofing tile on the wall as children will pick at them. Also, you're going to be realistic about what you can do. It's not always a perfect space, and so we just have to kind of work with what we have. But if you have the ability to create your own playroom, a 12 by 15 foot space is ideal. You want enough space for group play that involves independent play so that children can work on activities alone, even in a group setting without invading each other's space so that they're not like stacked on top of each other. It should provide privacy from view to protect confidentiality. And a window on the outside is fine, but blinds or other coverings should be used for internal windows. But you also want to be mindful of your child protection policy, particularly if you're working at a school or an agency, because sometimes they won't allow you to close the blinds because that could be a child protection issue. And so we want to be really mindful of that and protect yourself. So sometimes complete privacy is not a gift that we're given. Durability and ease of cleaning is a consideration. And a one-way mirror is great for training if you have a training space. A sink with cold water is preferred. So you can turn off the hot water valve underneath and cold valve at half so that children can't turn the water full blast and make a huge mess in the room. A chalkboard easel is a fantastic addition. And a mounted mirror that's secured is wonderful as well. And shelves on the wall can be used for toys and even for children. So the chalkboard easel is really great because they can color and draw and paint. The mounted mirror can help them. They can look at themselves, look at their expressions. They can also dress up in different dress-up outfits. And shelves on the wall can be used for toys and even for children. So the children part is that if they want a place to hide, like they can crawl up in the cubby hole. Oh, that is a blurry photo. I did not realize that. My apologies. But this is a sample playroom. That one's a little better. So you can kind of see how those shelves are over there for organization. There's a dollhouse. There's like a soft space to sit. There are grocery shopping carts and cars and hats and different toys for a variety of different forms of expression. And it's colorful and warm and worn in, so it doesn't feel sterile. It's very inviting for the child, and there's plenty of space. So this one as well, you can see there's a Bobo doll for punching if necessary. There's a lot of dress-up clothes for dramatic play. Puppets, little figurines, and then there's a creative play space as well. And alternatives. So you can use tote bag playrooms. So I know that when I was in the field working with children, I was in homes and schools, but my office would change whatever setting I was in. So a tote bag playroom was going to be my best bet. So I would carry my toys with me. So that's a really good thing to do. It's also easy to store if you need to clean up and put it somewhere. Portables are good for playrooms. The book even discussed that an abandoned school bus was used for An old school bus was used for a playroom, which is pretty cool. You could use the nurse's office or a corner of a room, and playroom materials could be kept in a closet. So work with what you have. It's not always a perfect world. We can still create facilitative spaces for children, even if they aren't perfect. When you're selecting your toys and material, select durable and inviting toys that aren't so tiny that children can choke on them. That's a pretty big one. We don't want little bitty pieces that people can swallow and get stuck in their throats. And age-appropriate, non-complex, non-mechanical toys that can be operated without too much frustration. No games that are too directive. So you don't want games because the therapist could either beat the child or let the child win. So playing structured games is really not for the playroom, because it's hard to be authentic, and it also distracts from just the other types of play that they could be engaging in that could be really can provide the therapist with time to reflect. Toys should be developmentally appropriate and can display a wide range of emotions. And remember that toys are their words. So we want a wide range of words. Selecting toys and materials. So we want to select toys and materials that facilitate a wide range of creative expression, facilitate a wide range of emotional expression, engage the child's interests, facilitate expressive and exploratory play, that allow exploration and expression without verbalization, that allow access without prescribed structure, allow for non-committal play, and have sturdy construction for active use. And the toys should be selected, not collected. So don't just use any old toy you find or that gets donated. Ask for if you want people to donate, then ask for specific toys to be donated. There are plenty of ways to get recycled toys that work in the playroom. We want to establish a positive relationship with the child. So selecting toys that help a child work through real life issues can promote a clear understanding for the therapist. So for example, providing a family of dolls is a symbol for both child and therapist to understand. It's easier to understand the play with clear toys. So example, a family of animals, a doll family, or aggressive toys such as handcuffs, toy gun, etc. For example, if no doll family is present, the child might play out the same scene with blocks, but this will be unclear to the therapist. So we want some just blank toys like blocks, but we also want some real life toys like aggressive release toys, creative expression toys, and family type toys. Puppets, creative expression, aggressive toys, relational toys, animals, and dress up. Let me kind of go over what those are. So puppets, could be used by the child to play out in any number of feelings or tell a story. The creative expression toys can give them a sense of mastery, like the sand, the Play-Doh, painting. They build their self-esteem, creativity, self-expression, all those different things. Aggressive toys give them a safe way to get out their aggression or even just their playfulness. Relational toys are like your baby doll, your bottle, maybe animals, different things that help them express different types of relationships. And then your animals, these can be used in a variety of ways. And then dress up, so dress up clothes. So reality testing of limits. Children will test limits in the playroom to see where the boundaries are. The therapist can toe the line between permissiveness and setting boundaries. This sometimes happens with aggressive toys. If the child is shooting you or wants to tie you up or different things like that. Sometimes breaking toys or hurting the therapist. And so you would want to set limits around that, of course. So you could say things like, toys are not for breaking, or I am not for hitting. Development of positive self-image. So many children come to therapy with a negative self-image, so materials that can be positive include Play-Doh, sand, crayons, and blocks. They're easily manipulated, and children can control the toys and the experience. They get a feeling of being able to accomplish things, and they can difficult to master toys can contribute to negative self-esteem, and you're going to want attainable, not overly frustrating toys. Self-understanding, so development of self-understanding. Self-understanding emerges from a positive relationship with the therapist. When the child trusts the therapist to just be, they can share aspects of themselves and gain deeper insight about who they are as people. And a wide variety of materials are available for exploration and therefore therapist reflection that can translate to understanding of self. There's an opportunity to develop self-control. So sand is great for developing self-control. Self-control can be developed by allowing the child to choose without adult interference, which can be a rare experience for some children. And the self-control can also be learned by therapeutic limit setting and child self-redirection. And the child self-redirection comes from that therapeutic limit setting because they make a choice about whether or not to follow that limit. Categories of toys include real-life toys, like dollhouses, kitchens, puppets, nondescript figures, car, truck, boat, cash register. Help children relate to their world in a concrete way. Acting out aggressive release toys include the Bobo, like the bot bag that the kids can hit and it bounces back. Toy soldiers, guns, not any realistic looking ones. Rubber knives help children release aggression, tension, and anger. And you could always have at least one item that the child can destroy, like egg cartons, popsicle sticks, etc. And creative expression and emotional release toys include sand, water, blocks, and paint. So a sample tote bag kit could have an aggressive hand puppet like an alligator, wolf, or dragon, Band-Aids, bendable doll family, bendable Gumby, blunt scissors, costume jewelry, cotton rope, crayons, dart gun, dollhouse. You can make your own dollhouse. And dollhouse furniture, handcuffs, and Lone Ranger type mask, and a medical mask. A Nerf ball. Don't get a bouncy ball because it'll bounce too much. Newsprint, nursing bottle, a plastic nursing bottle, pipe cleaners, Play-Doh, popsicle sticks, rubber knife, small airplane, small car, spoons, telephone, toy soldiers, transparent tape, 2 play dishes, and cups. So, and you could bring an inflatable Bobo if you have room. So to take a look at that list, this is probably what you're going to want to get for most of your spaces. And then this is the full playroom list. So I'm not going to go through all of this. It's a lot of the same things we've already discussed, but if you want to create a playroom, this is your list. And some special considerations. We want to be, sensitive to diversity when selecting our toys. We want to consider culturally specific additions and diverse cultural dolls. You can ask for donations for these specific toys from the PTA. No puzzles, because a piece would get lost and that would really frustrate the child that's trying to gain mastery over something, but also they could get sucked in and do that for the entire session. No storybooks, so it's great on the outside, but not great for facilitating self-expression of the child. Legos have too many pieces and that they can be problematic. They could also be something kids choke on. No food in the playroom, that's distracting. And no broken toys should remain in the playroom, and paints need to be refreshed, but only put 1 inch of paint in each cup because the child really doesn't need any more than that. And that way you don't have to limit their use in the moment. You can just let them kind of go for it. And children need a place to hide from the therapist, so a puppet theater is a good place, or maybe shelves. And the playroom should be consistent. Toys in the same place at the beginning of each session, because that helps the child feel safe and they know how to navigate and work through finding the things that they need in the playroom. So that's all I have for you. Hope you have a better idea. I'm also going to provide some more pictures of playrooms to kind of help you get a feel for what it looks like. All right, thanks.